This will define everything. With a rough start to the season for the Bengals, a tough matchup still continues against the Denver Broncos on Monday. Orlando Brown has an answer for what could turn around the Bengals' struggles so far. We're going to break down what he had to say and why this is 100% true if the Bengals are looking to go 3-1 to start out going through the first 4 games of the season. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. Happy to see all you Bengals fans. And if you want to be up to date on all things Bengals, get in on the discussion, smash that subscribe down below, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. There's a lot of questions going into this game that is going to be in Denver. The Bengals certainly did not put on a good show on last Sunday against the Vikings. There's a lot of questions that are going to be hopefully answered. Can the Bengals run the ball? Can the Bengals put up offense without Joe Burrow? Can the Bengals have a defense that gets the timely stops that last year showed they could not do? Those are some questions not just going to be answered on Monday night, but it's also going to be answered throughout the season. However, hearing comments from Orlando Brown of where they need to start, go back to the fundamentals, go back to the basics. I agree 100% with him. He was recently interviewed on what could be a way for the Bengals to improve the rushing attack. And it was simple. It's very simple what he had to say, but it's great to hear that is coming from arguably their best offensive lineman. Now, we can get into the numbers and all that, and to be honest, he's been struggling this year. But one that's a veteran, one that's been there before, coming from him, he's kind of that vocal guy on the offensive line. This is what he had to say when they interviewed him concerning what they can do to improve. He said, simply put, I mean dominating the line of scrimmage. Man, I think a lot of times being successful in the run game, it comes down to guys getting hat on a hat and finishing your blocks. And so we got really great running backs. Man, we got 2 to 3 great backs that are really good football players. Man, and have been in this league for a while. So it's on us up front, man, to get to the second level, to get double teams moving, multiple yards, all those things. This sounds so simple on paper, but this is what they have been failing to do so far. Just dominate the line of scrimmage. Just push guys back. Get some holes open. That is simply put what he's saying here. And he's right. I agree with him 100% when it comes to the running back. You know, Chase Brown is kind of getting a lot of feedback, some hate actually. And the stats are showing, yes, he has not been doing good, but it doesn't matter what running back you have back there. If the offensive line has been struggling like the Bengals has, it don't matter who's going to be back there. They're not going to be able to produce. You've got to give them at least a little leeway, a little bit of that push. And the Bengals have just been dominated on the other side of the ball. The defense has been just handling this offensive line so far. You can look at the stats, you can look at the PFF. Even if you're not really fully trusting of those stats, your eyes will tell you. When you've watched these games so far, the offensive line just has not been there when it comes especially to the run game. And that's why, especially, they've been last per game, 49 yards. They are averaging per game in the rushing attack. And that's just not going to cut it. When you have Joe Burrow out, you've got to take a little bit of the pressure off of Jake Browning. And the best way to do it, just like Orlando Brown said, is you have got to attack when it comes to that rushing. And it all comes down to the offensive line. If the offensive line struggles, your rushing is going to struggle. The flip side of it, when it comes to pass protection, you've got to have pass protection, obviously. But if you have guys like Joe Burrow, you have your Lamar Jacksons, guys that can get out of trouble, they can sometimes make up for the offensive line. And sadly, that's what we've been seeing with Joe Burrow. But the unfortunate thing is it has caught up with him. He's been taking a lot of hits. The pressures have just been nonstop with him. And it takes a quarterback like him to overcome those weaknesses. Jake Browning is not Joe Burrow. It's just not going to happen. I give a lot of respect to Jake Browning, that he's going to be a guy that could come in and potentially help them get to the playoffs. I think he can do it, but you got to give him a line, something, give him time. And if, they don't, then this is what you're going to see, unfortunately. This is a guy that's thrown 5 interceptions through 2 games. You're not going to win games like that. I mean, again, 3 of those, they did end up winning, but it's just not good. It's not good. He is not going to be able to produce. You don't have Joe Burrow. So hearing this from Orlando Brown, that's an encouraging sign to see. I think obviously they should recognize that. But again, I'm going to go back to something Marvin Lewis always said. I'll keep saying it until it changes, but I see better than I hear. I love hearing this. I love hearing this from Orlando Brown. But at the end of the day, go out and produce. Go out there and dominate the line of scrimmage. It's simple. It's obvious. It's nothing that anyone has not already heard before. But if they don't go out there and just get aggressive, show them that you are the Cincinnati Bengals. You have guys like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, Chase Brown, guys that you can put points on the board, whether you have Joe Burrow back there or not. They can still do damage against you. You've still got to start up front with the offensive line. It's all going to come down to that offensive line, and the rushing attack goes hand in hand with your passing game. That's really the simple answer. If the rushing does not improve, then they're not going to produce on offense. Simply put, they are 2-1. They're still sitting well despite that awful loss against the Vikings. They are still in good position to make a run. If they can turn this around, if they can get things going, they probably aren't going to be dominating like we maybe thought with Joe Burrow, because that's what Joe Burrow does. He does take you to that next level. They're still a great team. If they can just connect, if they can just execute, they're still going to be a scary team. And when Jake Browning filled in a couple years ago, again, they nearly made the playoffs. He has shown he can lead them. It just comes down to execution. Hopefully, it's going to be on the better, not the worse like we saw in the Vikings. But it's also good to see that Orlando Brown recognizes that they should not squander this 2-1 start. At one point, 2-0. That's something he went on further to say as well. He said, I would definitely say so. I think just with our focus, our energy, our effort in terms of our preparation, that's what we can control. They asked him about that 2-0 start, how you don't want to squander that, how you want to take advantage of the position you're in. Good to see that is completely true. It is what you can control. They can control this. They can fix it. They can go back to what Cincinnati's Bengals offense is capable of doing, even with Joe Burrow not at quarterback. The potential's there, but I'll say it once more. I see better than I hear. So I hope those words become reality. We come on Monday night against the Broncos. We can see the Cincinnati Bengals. They are sitting at 3-1. Wouldn't that be a great sight to see? Get some confidence back in this team, because as they say, the only way to go once you hit the bottom is up. I think that Vikings game is going to be their worst game of the season. They got to get better than that. At least that's my hope. But we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? How are you feeling going into this game? It's going to be a tough game. They are in Denver on Monday night in primetime. But how are you feeling? Do you think they can get more aggressive? They can win the line of scrimmage battle? The offensive line can really turn it on? We want to hear from you guys. Comment below what you think is going to be the result. I'm going to go with, if the offensive line can improve, the Bengals could pull this off within a field goal. You're probably looking at a 20-17 game. I think it'll still be a low scoring. On the flip side, if the offensive line does not improve, I could see them losing by 10. That's how I'm going to go with it. I will say that's probably going to be my score until they prove otherwise. I'll go with a 20-28. Denver is going to win this if the offensive line does not improve. But again, we want to hear from you guys, so comment below. And if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe. So that's going to do it for now, guys. As we say, Uday.